I thought he was. I remember live in Chicago, our first live show, and Dick Masterson's up there with us, and we're listening to John clips, and Dick goes, "John's not a stutterer," and I'm like, "No, he is." And I think back, I'm like, I wish I was looking at it from the fresh perspective of Dick Masterson, listening to this, going, "That's not what a stutterer sounds like. It's not."
No.
Well, I want to get some information from a person who met John in the flesh, had an interaction with him recently. Dalton is here to chat with us. I'm going to add him in here. Dalton, can you hear us, buddy?
Yeah, yeah. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
You sound great, actually. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm traveling right now, so I apologize. I couldn't, do the whole camera setup and all that. But it's an honor, by the way, Carl. I'm a huge fan of this
Oh,
show.
sweet.
Yeah,
Oh, well, thank you for
incredible.
that. So I'll just tell you the background from my perspective real quick, and then I'll let you tell the story.
Please.
So it was the Thursday night that we were in Vegas, and I'm standing at the Carousel Bar outside of the Plaza. I'm talking to Vegas Beer Sales Jerry, and we're talking about Stuttering John and their friendship. And he goes, "Yeah, I still talk to John all the time. He calls me, he messages me. In fact, right now he's out on a date." And I said, "Oh, that's funny. I just got a text from Missy B saying that her friend ran into John while he was out on a date."
Yeah, yeah, dude.
I'm like, this is so weird that I'm talking to two people who are communicating with people who are with Stuttering John right now on this
I'm
date.
I'm sitting at this table, right? Okay, and I go up, I go smoke a cigarette or something, and I brush past John, and it's like a movie moment. It's like slow motion. I'm 25. I didn't grow up with the Stern Show. Got into it later, and genuinely, this is not a joke. I'm not messing around. I'm a fan.
Okay.
When I saw John, I'm thinking this is. And by the way, I'm hammered. Okay, let's just be honest. But I'm walking by him and I see him and I go, wow, this is crazy. I gotta say hello. Immediately engage in conversation. Are you Stuttering John?
Now, would you have done this if you were sober?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what I wouldn't have done here in a
Okay.
second
All
because
right.
it falls apart very quickly. I'm thinking this is gonna be great.
You got some beer balls going.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, John's at this restaurant, and I don't know the whole story with him, but I spent 1,000 something plus dollars on this meal. I was with this girl.
Okay.
John had like a Michelob Ultra, and like fucking, I
Oh,
don't even know.
set the scene for us. So this is a
Yeah.
high-end steakhouse?
High-end steakhouse. It's
Okay.
actually, I can tell you, it's called the Meat Market. In
John was at a
Tampa.
place called the Meat Market? You didn't lead with that?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So Meat Market in Tampa. It's a beautiful place. Great dinner. Um, and he shows up with this girl, and they're sitting, no joke, right across from me.
What's the girl
But
like?
older. And I'm not going to disparage her or whatever, but she's older. She's clearly got some work done. Jewish. I noticed the Hebrew
Nose.
necklace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize it was that kind of show.
No. Adam gets very upset with our anti-Semitism on here. We keep this in check.
I'm seething. I'm seething.
No, but she nice enough girl, but she's clearly wasted as well. I don't know where they were leaving from, but they're both inebriated.
What time of night is this?
7, 8 o'clock.
Okay, so it's prime dinner time.
It's prime dinner
They're
time.
plastered at their table. Okay.
Yes. He's wearing a coat that doesn't fit right. His pants are down
What?
below his feet.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Oh, dude.
It was provided for him.
And
It
you're
would
going to
be
show
cool.
us the
Hey,
video?
listen, it would have been very cool if it wasn't him. If this was like running into Mick Jagger or something, you could expect something like that. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and I get up to go smoke the cigarette. I brush by him. I say, "No way, are you Stuttering John?" He looks at me and he doesn't say anything. We lock eyes. And like I said, I had been drinking. So this felt like an eternity. I'm looking at fucking Stuttering John, wondering what to do next. Like, what are we going to do? Are we going to fuck? We have girls for
Right.
that. That's why they're here. And
But it's still an option, though. I like that it's still on the
it's,
table.
oh
Still
yeah,
the
I
meat
mean,
market in
listen,
Tampa.
I told you I'm a fan. I'm trying to
You're right.
get whatever Lino money's left or something. I don't know. But he looks this is where I fuck up. I go, I'm not a troll. And that's like, dude, I think that's where it goes wrong. So his date's at the table.
Because the word "not" doesn't mean anything in that sentence. The word
No, it
troll
doesn't.
means everything.
No, he immediately says, yes, I'm Stuttering John. No stutter, by the way. So I think you guys are right. He's sort of like a woman that says she's been raped.
Jesus Christ.
No, I don't think that's exactly the same. I see where you're going with that, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's exactly the same.
Well-
We say "me too'd" on this show. All right.
Okay, I mean, that's
hard
pretending
R.
she's been.
Or we
Sorry
don't say it
about
at all,
that.
but anyway,
Sorry
keep
about.
going.
Okay,
It's a
yeah, my bad.
consensual stutter.
I apologize. No, but he says why would you say that? You know, and I say, well, yeah, I know that you get a lot of shit online. This is, an intense thing. I just want to, say hello. I go smoke a cigarette. He walks away. It was a very brief interaction. He was ready to sit down. I walk back, sit down by my date. And the whole time I immediately call Missy and Anthony. I call Anthony up.
I think his worst nightmare.
I love this.
And keep in mind, I told him I wasn't a troll, but I'm like on the phone with, Missy and Anthony.
Hockey says hi.
Yeah, right.
So I call Anthony. He doesn't pick up. He's playing Call of Duty. So I call Missy. Missy picks up the phone. I say, you won't believe who I'm with. Missy says, Stuttering John. How the fuck did you know? She was like, I don't know. I just had a feeling.
Woman's intuition.
Wow.
Yeah, wild. Long story short, because not really a whole lot happens in between that. I tell them that they're there. I say, should I get a picture? He just walks out. He tells the date that he's going to the bathroom, and then leaves.
Wait, hold on. He left his date?
Oh yeah. And this is bad because she's been drinking.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did he leave her with the check?
Yeah. Are you? Yeah.
Holy shit.
He said he was going to the bathroom.
And you overheard this.
Yes. No, I didn't just overhear it. I had about an hour-long conversation with his date.
Oh my God. All right. When is she coming on the show? Send her the link.
You know what? I got her name. Okay. I think I sent it to Missy. She did look familiar. I don't know who she was. Something about her, though. Like I said, older. She definitely had some work
Tan
done.
Mom?
No, not
Maybe
Tan.
it was Tan Mom.
Florida.
Yep. Underdog lady?
It was Stern.
Hold on. Okay, this is incredible. I'm sorry. I'll let you spit it out. I don't want to drag this out. But you ran into John. I'm not a troll. He gets upset. You go back down. You sit down. You're having dinner. He's across from you having dinner. And you see him get up and say, I got to use the bathroom. And he never comes back again and just leaves his date there. And then you go over, after some time has passed, I assume, you go over and talk to his date who's sitting there holding the bag.
Yeah. And it goes by. She doesn't immediately. He says he's going to the bathroom, right? So it's not like an immediate reaction from her. She doesn't just start bawling her eyes out. She does eventually.
Oh no, this is okay.
It's bad, man. I mean, this was like, and I'm on a date with a very beautiful girl. This was a romantic situation, and.
You don't bring a slob to $1,000 steakhouse.
And now and keep in mind, by the way, just a side note, the girl that I'm with has no idea who the hell Stuttering John is. She doesn't know why I'm freaking out. She doesn't know who Anthony is. I'm on the phone. I'm calling. I'm like, I'm sorry. You don't understand what's going on. My voice is shaking. I'm so excited. And so he leaves. 15 minutes goes by, maybe 30. And his drunk date turns around and says, hey, did you see John leave? I saw you walk up to him and talk to him. What'd you say to him? And I said, I told him I was a fan. He's Stuttering John. And this was interesting too. She said she didn't know who he was, which makes me think maybe she didn't want to be seen in public with Stuttering John. I don't know why I get that feeling.
He
but
might have
she
said his name was Pedro, because if you say I'm John Melendez, someone's going to Google it before they go on a date with you.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking, right? So anyway, she says she didn't know who he was. And by the way, he's got to be 4'10", 4'11". I mean, this guy is.
All right, that is a question I was going to ask you.
Oh yeah,
He's very short.
It's like a weird limp. It's like not a medical thing. It's just because he doesn't know how to walk or something.
Okay.
And so she turns around, says, "Well, I noticed the car's gone."
Telltale
like,
sign.
We're sitting outside, by the way, so we're right by that street. And I go, "Well, I didn't see him leave." Blah blah blah. She begins to bawl and cry. My date is now consoling her, and it's just a shitty thing to do. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, particularly because I didn't express any intention on, messing with him, or I tried to be clear with him about that. Maybe that was the wrong move. But yeah, I mean, she was a mess.
It's interesting. I believe the first half of your story. Where was the date when you went up to John?
She was sitting down. So I guess he was getting I don't know, maybe getting a drink at the bar, coming back to the table. So she's sitting at the table. Okay. He's walking towards me as I'm walking out. And I brush up slightly again. I notice him because I brush up against him. And I look over and I see fucking Stuttering John.
Yeah, and I believe he would just stare at you. You know why, Dalton? Because you said you're 25, and he knows. He's been doing this a long time. You can tell what people are a fan of just from looking at them a little bit. And if you're 25, you don't know him from Stern. So he knows you know him from something else. Right. So he's staring at you, waiting for what he suspects to happen. It was the same thing when Opie had Shuli on briefly. And the first thing that Shuli said was like, "What are you? You're acting like Stuttering John. I'm not going to troll you." All he heard was troll, and he left. So you said the word troll, which is what he was waiting for.
Yes.
And I believe he didn't want to come back, but she didn't see him drive away from the outdoor seating in the.
So he's facing the car. If you look it up, if people really want to get into the nitty-gritty details here, if you look it up, we're sitting on the outside section. It's a two-seater table. We're not at booths, and we're right by the fence. And John is facing towards his car that's parked on the street. She's facing away. Her back is towards us. He's facing us, me and my date. And I'm facing them. My date's facing away from them. So my date's closest to her, and me and John are sort of locking romantic eyes, across the room.
Sure.
It was just a weird, sad, and uncomfortable situation.
How does it end? How does that end? You're consoling her. You've got possibly 2 dates now. Things are looking up for Dalton.
I did kind of think about that. She had breast implants. That's interesting. What are you gonna do? But by the way, significantly taller than him. That's and she's in heels, which just means she's fucking with his head. So yeah, anyway, the whole thing was just really sad. And I felt bad. I really did, because I'm a fan. I wasn't trying. I like to, fuck around or whatever and laugh at the guy, but I wasn't gonna, what, you think I was gonna, throw a roll at his face or something, or.
All right. So Dalton, I'll tell you that the chat is skeptical of this story. They were
that's fair.
They were believing everything up to the point where John gets up to use the bathroom and leaves, and now she's crying. Now,
and I got to tell you, Dalton, you prefaced this with, "I was blasted out of my mind." Now, here are very, very specific details.
Yes.
They weren't super specific.
I could.
Where they were sitting was very
This is why I wish I would have gotten a picture, because I figured nobody would believe me.
We believe you ran into him. I'm just trying to get all the details because we love this stuff so much.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to think of anything. I can check my text maybe at some point after I get off, and with my the girl that I was out with at the time. Maybe I could send it to Carl if I texted her anything. Maybe I have some text with Missy or something. But yeah, I mean, listen, it was just a bizarre. I just don't know how else to explain it.
Do you remember anything else she said to you when you were? She was crying and confiding in you? Did she say anything about how she met John or what they were doing or if she was going to meet up with him, anything like that?
No, and that's something I wish I would have asked about what they were like, how they got there or whatever, because she said she didn't know him again, and that's
was
like
an-
bizarre.
It was an online date. That's what Jerry Beer Sales told me, was that they met through an app.
Okay, and he.
But why
and
would he be
she's-
at such an expensive restaurant? That's not John's style at all. That's
Holy
surprising.
fuck! You just made me realize something. He probably told her not to Google him because she told us that they agreed not to look each other up online. You just made like that.
It sounds like
makes
this one was
sense
also
now.
just like, yes, please, let's not do that.
At first, I was thinking maybe they're both like, maybe she's embarrassed, but no, it probably was him trying to cover up for, the shit he gets. And I
Right.
said, that's I'm like, you're with Stuttering John. Do you know the Howard Stern show? She goes, oh yeah, I grew up with that or whatever. And
Okay.
yeah, she was a mess.
So the other question I'm seeing in the chat that I want to ask you about. So people are like, wait a second, this guy's calling up Anthony Cumia. How does he know Anthony? How are you friends with Anthony and Missy?
Yeah, I used to do a podcast. I used to do a show, and interviewed Anthony once. It was a great time. People may know what America First is. Anthony went out to AFPAC. I bought Anthony dinner, me and my
okay.
co-host, and we ended up having a ball. We, just fucking ran up the town. And it was just a great time. So me and Missy and Anthony, we get
You guys
along.
are all in the KKK together. Okay, now this
Yes,
makes perfect
yeah.
sense now.
Nazis, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now I believe everything you just said. That makes perfect sense. So this is such a wild story. The fact that John would skip out. Do you know that he skipped out on the bill? Did you see that the check came back and she was stuck with it?
No, but I mean, he left, and there were at least she had a drink and he had a drink. So I would assume, like, I just assume that, to be honest.
John's just eating baskets of bread. You want to go out for some nice bread?
Oh no, they didn't. They did not get to bread. So really, it's not that big of a deal.
Oh,
that she
they
was
didn't even
left
have.
with the
They
check.
didn't even eat yet.
No, he was coming
No,
from
I
the
get-
bar.
They just
Yeah.
gotten seated.
Yeah, this was right when they sat down.
Oh, so he looked at the menu prices and went, "Yeah, she's just not hot enough for
That's
this."
that's
think
another
that's it.
option.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly
Oh, and maybe
it.
use that as an excuse to leave.
Yeah, looking for an out. Like,
How did
this guy
nobody
was
see him
trolling me.
leaving? How did they not? It's not a new car. It's
Well,
gotta
he
have a
said.
loud
Well,
engine.
she said it was a Mercedes. I didn't see the car. I didn't look at it. She said it was a Mercedes. And again, she's facing away from it. I'm facing away from it. I guess the girl that I'm with, who again didn't know who Stuttering John was, didn't really know what was going on. I just told her this was a big deal and that I was a fan. So I don't know. I thought I saw him get up and go to the bathroom. I did notice that because I saw him stand up, and again, I'm like kind of, I'm fangirling a little bit,
Wow, what an amazing experience this was. I'm so glad you came on to tell us a story. Tiger Lily says, best story ever, Dalton.
Yeah,
You've
thank you.
made some fans here. Do you still have a podcast, or you're not doing that anymore?
No, I'm retired. I'm done. I'm done.
Still fair game, though. Still fair game since you used to podcast.
Yeah. Well, I did radio. I did radio for 4 years as well, and so it's always been a passion. But
Jesus Christ, this guy's 25 years old. He's talking about, yeah, I've been there, done that. I'm retired.
it's a lot. I don't know how you guys. I don't know how everybody does it. It's too much to worry about. But
We just make it all up. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
yeah, true.
I write the script. I send it off to Adam and Chris, and then we just come out here. It's easy.
I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just reading it.
I mean, this is why I wish I would have gotten a picture, because I knew no one would believe that I just watched Stuttering John abandon his date at a restaurant. That is it's just so crazy.
Wow.
Because you always, I don't know about your chat. I don't know about you guys necessarily, but I almost don't want to assume the worst of the guy. Like, I don't want to
Sure.
assume. And he just did like the worst thing possible. He's just like chose to just fuck it up to the max. I'm like, holy shit,
Wow.
dude.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for coming on and sharing that. Hang out with us for a minute, because I'm going to go through some of the super chats that are coming in. I think there's questions for you
Sure.
that are coming in. So if you can hang out for just a minute. But first, I want to talk about May 26th. Stuttering John has put out, wait for it, May 26th. And before he put out that date, he said he knows Cardiff, who he is, and Cardiff is not a victim, and he's going to finally dox Cardiff and put it out there, his name and his photos and stuff. But there's speculation because we're like, what is he waiting for? If this happened in Hackamania, that was weeks ago now. Like, what do you mean? What are you doing? There is speculation. May 26th is actually going to be the day that he drops a lawsuit on Shuley and me for Dabble House. Could you imagine? It's everything a guy could dream for. I mean, if he tried to sue Shuley and me, oh my God, it'd be so fantastic. We have a few live shows coming up this year. Of course, Boston. We're going to be in Detroit in September. Yeah. There's another thing I'm working on with some creators that we're going to do in New York State, near the city. If there's a lawsuit, we got to add to our calendar. We're going to have to do a whole tour of the continental United States because this is going to be incredible. So I'm throwing that out there. There's speculation. Why not get the rumor mill going on that?
I just want to read through the transcripts out loud to anyone who listens.
Be amazing.
Tour from state to state.
What not chaser coming in?
I am liar and cunt.
KFT coming in.
Listen, all you Saturday coonts. I am the Wednesday god of WAP. You will bow before me. Also, 2 knickers stole my truck.
Is that true?
Wow.
Okay. KFT again.
I suck it off 2 Newports after my last comedy show. I wanted to prove I'm not racist. Wait, I'm not woke, Dad. Wrong A, chat.
That's fine. KFT one more time.
The Jew is inferior. The Shuleys of the world must submit to me. Also, I am opening a new pizza shop. Carl's Cleveland Kitchen. No pineapple or watermelon pizzas.
I do like this crowd.
I like pineapple pizzas. What's going on here? James P. became a new member. Thank you very much, James P. We appreciate that. Laziest Man on Mars says, SJ, stuttering gone? No, I'm still a victim.
Yep.
Can you believe it? Even though I don't stutter anymore, I'm still a victim of stuttering.
Yeah, no, I know.
Laziest Man on Mars, Big A destroys SJ in stutter battle. Nice guy, too. Yeah, Big A. I met Big A at Compound Media. He's big. He's a big A. Great or good. SJ only dabbles in stuttering. He dabbles in everything, except for drinking. Drunkle Greg, Stuttering John, not a stutter, a slow.
Stuttering John.
Stuttering John. I get it. Okay, yeah, I read that wrong. Steve Morton says, so John's not a stutterer. Are you next going to say he didn't graduate from NYU? Correct. John did not graduate from NYU. Laziest Man on Mars, Saint John Melendez, patron saint of stutters. Someday.
Who's cured stuttering and can cure it in you, but also doesn't stutter anymore and also can't give you any advice outside of drinking of how to stop stuttering.
Right. OG Mumbling Nick 2 bucks. SJ is more of a mumbler, but my group rejected him. Even the mumblers don't want him. Adam, $5 says, go Pacers. Dabblers should agree, as I'm sure John is a Knicks fan. Maybe we will see him on Celebrity Row at MSG. I saw a headline that Howard was complaining he can't get front row tickets to the Knicks games or something. He's a fair weather fan, that Howard Stern. I could see why the Knicks wouldn't want him there. But I think the Pacers have more talent. I think the Pacers will go through. Adam. Steve C. There's a little Stuttering John in all of us. It's an ego problem. Stuttering John is just the best at it. That's a fact, Jack. But he's a narcissist, too. I mean, it's a very different personality disorder. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I mean, Dalton, I've only had one interaction with John in person, and it was very brief, but it was as over-the-top unbelievable as yours was. Like, it was just all of the things. Yeah, he told us to go into the wrong room, and then somebody came in and said, who told you to be in here? And we said, John, and then they yelled at him, and he yelled, and it was just everything you would expect, like Mad Magazine. So
Yeah,
I get when it's too good to be true. I just don't know how much the second half is reality. But Laziest Man on Mars says, Dalton Trumbo's right, you guys. All right, we're going to believe him.
Thank you.
Laziest Man on Mars says again, Dalton Clodfelter loved what you did at the Double Deuce.
Thank you.
What'd you do?
I don't know. I didn't leave my date, that's for sure.
Okay. Laziest man on Mars one more time. Detective Bush grills Dalton Liar like on First 48. Laziest man on Mars one more time. Dalton Clodfelter. Then everyone clapped. I could hear that panic in your voice when Carl said, and then what happened? And you're like, everything amazing.
Yeah.
Pete D, $5. I wish this was true. Me too, Pete D. Terry Nee, member for 2 months. The jury is in. Stuttering John is the worst. Yes, we can all agree on that.
All 12.
Dunder Mifflin, Tuna 199. SJ went 135 miles to go on a date. Yep.
Yeah, that is a good point. The great Missy B coming in with $10.
We love you, Dalton. NHB, I don't know what she's saying. It can't be good. See you at the meat market.
See you at the meat market.
KFT 199. This guy is trying to seed Clearwater Chad his way onto the show.
Yeah, I think he's doing a better job than Clearwater Chad already. We can all agree on that.
Chad
Edward.
works in mysterious ways.
Does he work?
Edward Crakey for $5. Don't believe Dalton. I believe John would walk out on a date, but he gets his own drink. Once you're at the table, the waitress brings your drink.
No, he was coming from the bar. They just had, like, I guess, gotten their seat. So they walked over from the bar with their drinks in hand, and then they sit down. But I had caught John, I guess, as he was bringing his back. So she was already there.
The story checks out. And of course, John was drinking a Mick Ultra out of the bottle, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what you do in a classy steakhouse.
Isn't that? Yeah, I don't know what was
Do you want
going
to pour
on
this in
there.
a glass for you, sir? No.
Yeah, that was like a detail that I like vividly remember because I thought the same thing.
Cape Coral to Tampa is over a 2-hour drive. Yeah, it's about 2 hours. Because when I went to
Yeah, I don't know why
Tomatoes
he would be there. I thought there was something. I mean, I know that there was there was something going on. Missy was in town around that time. Wasn't exactly, but yeah, I remember there's something going on in Florida. But I couldn't. I don't know why he was in Tampa. I have no idea.
I don't know how wide the range is on his dating app, but it's not out of the question.
Right, yeah. Guys have driven a lot further than 2 hours for pussy. That's not crazy
That's
at
true.
all. Well, Dalton, thank you so much for coming on. Great story. We appreciate that. Anything else you want to leave us with?
No, not really. Just want to, obviously big fan. Shout out to Missy for setting this up. I
Shout out to
appreciate her a ton. And shout out to Anthony. And yeah, I listen. Go ahead.
Is there anything nice you can say about John that you observed, or anything just like, better than expected, or something nice and sweet he did, or anything of note?
I mean, I know Carl doesn't like dead air, but I'm at a loss there.
I believe it.
Actually, that worked perfectly.
I left without a scene.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess there was no like fight or anything. Like he,
All right, there you go.
it
No
was
violence.
quick.
That's a plus.
Now we got one more that just came in. I shot Tupac, 69, $20. Don't believe this guy. He is a literal neo-Nazi who literally went to Ukraine because he thinks black suns and swastikas are cool and invests in Stu Peters proof coin. A lot of allegations coming in right there.
Yeah, that's no. I never went to Ukraine. I was in the army. I did not go to Ukraine.
God, this guy has done everything. Were you like the Good Morning Vietnam guy when you were in the army? Is that why you have
That's why I
experience?
joined. I wanted to do that, but no, I was an infantryman.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, you're a fascinating character, Dalton. I'm glad you came on the show today. This has been great.
Man, thank you guys so much. This was incredible.
If you want to follow up with anything else, like you said, I don't know if there's any other evidence that you can
Or
supply.
the date. The date. I'm sorry, if the date was available, or
Yeah.
we'd love to talk. We'd love to talk to her. We'll have you both back on.
Definitely.
If I can find her name, I don't know how much that'll help. I think it was Kate or Katie or something like that.
Let's dox her. Let's go. Did you get her credit card number by any chance?
That's Carl's favorite.
Well, she did, I guess, have to take care of the bill, so it wouldn't have been out of the question. But
Right, that's what I was thinking. I'm sure it would have gotten pulled out at some point.
no, but if I can find anything, I promise you guys will be the first to know. I'll drop it in that group chat I'm in with with you too.
Please
so.
do. Yeah. Mayo just came in with $10. Says, never heard of Dalton, but the guy is hilarious and sounds normal and cool, I believe.
That's a friend of mine. Fuck him.
All right. So just outed them. Good try, Mayo. All right. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Yep. Have a great one, guys.
Yeah, you too. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And here I was talking to Missy about coming on Point Dabble Point to tell that story. I like to come from Dalton a lot more. That worked out very well. I appreciate that.